Good afternoon, people. I'm back with some more Mirror's Edge. I've finished the closed beta part of the game. So I only have the open world gameplay left. Let's see. Okay, so at the moment, of course, I'm streaming. So look at that. Okay, stop it. So as you can see, I'm running this now at between 30 and 40 FPS, which isn't great, but considering that, let's see some of these settings. I have post-processing down to medium. I'm gonna mash on medium, motion blur off, because who cares for motion blur anyway. The rest is all on high. Yesterday, with the same settings, I had a stable 50 to 60 FPS. I think the difference is caused by the area I'm in now. And, well, obviously, I'm streaming. So, I placed this thing here. Let's see if anyone... Nope. No one has found this one yet. I did kinda cheat. Climbed up here and everything. So, anyway. This one is pretty hard to get because, as you can see, I'm on a billboard. And there's no obvious way up here. I'm not even sure if I can get down. Anyway, so the game looks good. I watched some Nerd³ yesterday, and the guy was complaining about having to go through the same part of the map every time. Well, as a Mirror's Edge fan, I kind of feel obligated to explain a little bit more, since I seem to have more experience with the new installment than he has. Mirror's Edge, the original version, the original installment from 2009, had the whole Mirror's Edge in 2009 had the linear gameplay, one level and you ran through it, and then you went to a cutscene and went to the next level, etc, etc. So it was all pretty straightforward. You just played through the story and that was that. You had the whole time attack mode as well, but it was basically the same levels, but then in a time attack fashion. So what this game does different is that you have the main story, and you go to areas that aren't all available in the open world. Like yesterday, one of my last story mission had me go into the Kruger building over there. There was another story which had me go into another story mission which had me go into a different building as well. So you still have the unique levels that you had in the 2009 installment. It's just a little bit different, considering that now you have the open world gameplay in between the story missions. So you actually get a little bit more content, and I don't think that's something you should complain about. Next to that, like you have basically the same gameplay elements that you had in 2009, except this is a reboot. So you have the whole progression system. You don't start off with all the skills that you had back then. You have to learn them. Some of them are kind of odd that you have to learn them, but then again, you always get that kind of stuff. Like Nerd³ was complaining that you had to learn the quick turn. You couldn't just 180 do a 180 degree turn. But considering the wall jump that she does, that is not something that it is something that you need to learn. It isn't something that people can actually do straight away. It is somewhat odd that it's placed behind some progression, but then again, don't most games do that these days? So I do understand their choice to spread this out. It will let you come back to races that you did before and improve your time as you've unlocked more abilities. I think that's hold on. I think that's kind of normal these days, and I don't mind at all. So next to that, you also you have player created content now. Like this is the beat that I placed down, so people can come and find it. They can interact with it, and it's more like a hotspot. See who, like you can place them around, and you can then see who found. Like you can mark certain areas and see who found the area where you placed that thing. You have time trials where users can actually create races in the open world for you. So the open world so far is only this little bit, and it's still pretty huge. There's quite some stuff to see and do around here. There are quite some races, like a handy shortcut. I haven't even done that one, and I've spent like 4 hours just playing through the story so far. This is the next main mission that's available to me, but I can't do that. As soon as I get there, it'll say something like congratulations on finishing the beta gameplay. So I'm not gonna do that. But there are, like, you have the delivery quests, missions or whatever, and you have the security hub, and the security hub is actually something new, which I kinda like, but it does involve forced combat. Now, I saw Nerd³ having quite some fun with the combat, even though he didn't like it. It is true that in the first installment, combat was completely optional, and that still goes, as far as I've experienced in the closed beta missions, story missions, it still goes. You don't have forced combat except for certain tutorial missions. Like if during the mission they force me to during one of the story missions they force me to do one of the security hubs to unlock that part of the game. It's also something to progress the story a little, but it's mostly to show off more open world content. So they force you to do one, but after that you don't have to do this. It's open world gameplay. You can do whatever you like. So if you don't like the forced combat, stay away from it. Who cares? During the story missions, I could just skip every enemy that I saw, and during the security hub I can actually choose to either engage. Well, I can do the security hub, and after that I'll just show you. The security hub is basically an antenna. You interact with it, but it's guarded. So you have to take out the first 4 guards, the first squad, and after that shit goes. Shit happens, you know, and you have to escape or at least get away from the evil people. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I can get down here without dying. Let's try this. Yeah, that works. Oh, what the hell happened? That was odd. Okay, great. So I'm here again, and I'm just gonna try do it again. So we get this one, we get this one, and now, you know what? I'm just gonna drop here. So we have this. Okay, so let's see. They want me to go here. Not quite sure how to get up there yet. We'll find out. Here's the camera. And the cameras, I'm not sure if they actually work or what they actually do, but they do respond to your presence. So we're almost there, so we should find some enemies here. Let's do that.
What do we got? I got food. Keeping my eyes peeled.
Let's kill that one.
We got a breacher. We have a policy breacher.
Okay, so the combat, that's another thing. The combat isn't bad per se, but I do feel for someone who's as agile as Faith is supposed to be. Okay, so now shit happens. You are now in KSEC alert. You are hunted. Escape. Okay, so I have to get away now and stay out of sight. And the top right, you see the dark and the light blue. And the dark blue is... So the dark blue isn't the dark blue is the what do you call it? Their sensor array. And the light blue is actually the chopper. So the chopper is trying to find me. The dark blue is scanning for my presence. Now I have to stay out of sight from the chopper, and they can see me now. But at the same time, I have to outrun the dark blue. So there we have the chopper, and it's gonna send in troops, I think. This is actually the practice area. So I've actually outrun the chopper now, and what I'm doing now is stay the fuck out of the dark blue, stay out of sight, and then all should be good. Get out of sight, yeah, fuck. So the mini-map, the radar, in the top right, is actually showing me to a safe house apparently. So if I follow this, I should be able to get to a safe house. Apparently, there's some people shooting at me. Okay. Out of sight. If I stay out of sight, get out of sight. Okay, I thought I was out of sight. Apparently I'm not. No, I kind of do like this part of the gameplay, but it's difficult. So that was the security hub. So you kill the 4 guards and then you get away. And getting away is sometimes a challenge, sometimes it's easy. It really depends on the area you're in. So I'm not really sure what all this is. These are collectibles, and apparently you get them for some part of the progression. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so the open world gameplay content is basically to allow you to play and do stuff without progressing the story, so you can actually master your skills. You have the time trials, the races, collectibles, all kinds of things that you always have in open world games. It allows you to do whatever you like basically within the game world, so you get to play around with the mechanics. And I always liked open world games. I liked exploring. I like to climb high buildings and then look around enjoying the view, because let's face it, the game does look gorgeous, just as it did in 2009, except just newer. It's been updated, so yeah, obviously it's newer. It looks more filled in. The other one was just a white canvas, and this one actually has some life to it, like all the flying ships and the cars down below. That was my bad. Anyway, so they added a bit more scenery to the game, and I kind of like that. If you want to do the story missions, play the story, they have you go into office buildings and run around, escape from guards and whatnot, so it's all still there. The 2009 gameplay mechanics are still here. It's just filled in, or what do you call it? They added the open world gameplay to it. They didn't remove any of the fun experiences we had in 2009. I think this game, apart from it being closed beta and about to be released, like it's supposed to be released a month from now, I think 26th May if I remember correctly. They still have some work to do. There are some glitches, there are some bugs, but most of it is there. It's working fine and it plays well. Also, Nerd³ looked in the mirror and didn't see anything. Well, let me just show you. We have a Faith, and this is how she dances. Yeah. Okay, so it is sort of glitchy because her body doesn't really respond well to my pressing buttons, if you see. The animation isn't bad, but it could be better. There are some glitches that need to be worked out. I do really like this though. It looks nice. Okay. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about the game. I'm kind of excited for release. I'm really looking forward to finding out what more they added, how big the world is. Really looking forward to having some fun, but I'm still not sure whether or not I'll buy it at full price, considering I also have No Man's Sky coming out a month later, and I've pre-ordered that because I've been waiting for that for 2 years. So just have to wait and see. This is actually one of my more anticipated games for this year. This one and No Man's Sky, so I will end up buying it. Just not sure yet when or at what price. Next to that, I'm playing it with mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard works great. For me, it's the only way to actually be able to play a first-person shooter. I have a Steam controller, and I have a really hard time controlling the camera with the controller. The Steam controller features only one analog stick, and the analog stick is for movement, obviously. So you have on your right thumb you have a touchpad kind of thing, and you can set that up to work as an analog stick, but obviously you don't have the actual feedback, the feeling of pushing around the stick, so the camera control is a little bit harder that way. Also, setting it up to work with a non-Steam game is hard, especially if a game requires a launcher. You have to add the game to Steam, add it as a non-Steam game, and then launch it through Steam in order to have your Steam controller be recognized by the game. The Steam controller is partially recognized by the game as keyboard and mouse input if it's not launched through Steam. If you launch it through Steam, you can set it up within Steam as an Xbox controller, and then the game recognizes it as an Xbox controller. You get a little bit more configuration options, so the Steam controller is a good way to go, but I'm not really into playing non-Steam games with the Steam controller because of the extra hassle of adding it to Steam. So I was actually thinking about starting a new game today for this stream with the Steam controller, just to see if it works, and so I could give you some feedback about that as well. But I figured, fuck it, I'm just not gonna go through all that. I'm just not feeling like having to go through all the extra effort just to try and play this game with a controller when it's not really necessary. The game works really well with mouse and keyboard. It's one of the better games, one of the better, well, I'm not even sure if this is a port, but a lot of games, first-person games, should be way easier to play with mouse and keyboard. But then you have games like Dark Souls, which are obvious ports that don't work with mouse and keyboard at all. When I revisited Dark Souls earlier this year with my Steam controller, I was actually a lot better just because I was using a controller. And in my opinion, when you release a game on the PC, controller is a secondary requirement. Mouse and keyboard support is primary. It's a PC game. PCs come with mouse and keyboard. You need mouse and keyboard controls to be working optimally. If you can't do that, don't make a PC game. Simple. Anyway, that's kind of my review for Mirror's Edge Closed Beta. I'm excited about it. I'm hoping they won't mess up before release. I'm hoping the game will actually be fleshed out a little bit more than what I can see here now. Like, you start with this area, and then you get this area. This is quite a bit of an area. You actually can run around from here to here. You have to go through here, which I really don't like. I kind of hoped I would be able to go this way, but I think moving from like over here all the way over here, it will take you maybe 30 minutes of running, maybe 15, but it will take some time to get the fastest route from there to there and do it in less than 50 minutes. It's gonna be hard. So I'm expecting this area to be quite large, and the complete game area should be quite large as well. If I look at this map, I'm hoping they will fill in more here and here to traverse from this area to here without having to go all the way around, or this might be a story area that you have to unlock separately. There was mention about fast travel as well, so you get more safe houses around the city, stuff like that. I'm not sure how it's gonna work out. It might actually be a pain, it might actually be better than it is now. I'm hoping for some bug fixes, and well, obviously that's gonna happen. They gave me a closed beta key and then didn't mention how to get back to them with feedback, so I'm just hoping they will eventually look at these videos and take into consideration the things that the beta testing community has come across. Like Nerd³ was kind of disappointed about the game direction. He showed off some major glitches, stuff that shouldn't be happening at all. This is also like a bit of a problem. I can double click and then it goes away, but if I do this and then move my mouse, it's really hard to get back on it, so you have to double click. Took me until now to find that out. Anyway, I'm getting derailed. This game is hopefully gonna be awesome. If you were into Mirror's Edge, be sure to give this game a try because it's gonna be good. If you aren't into open world games, you might want to wait for some actual reviews after release, but I'm pretty confident this game will at least be as good as the 2009 installment. Hopefully a little bit longer as well, because I played that game 3 times from beginning to end, and I still craved for more. So I'm really looking forward to a more fleshed out version, which we hopefully have in this installment. So let's see if this works, or if it is gonna pop up the closed beta thing. Yeah, there we go. So we get access to 2 areas, and that's it. So thanks for watching again, and hopefully this sort of preview, review, closed beta talk has given you a little bit more of a sense of what to expect from this title. If you have any more comments or questions or just overall feedback, feel free to comment or to send me a message. Feel free to subscribe, follow, or not. I will return with other games that I like, with Let's Plays, and my obvious playthrough of No Man's Sky later this year, starting on June 22nd, hopefully at 8 o'clock GMT, 8 p.m. that is GMT, because that's the time it will release. Well, thanks for watching and have a great Sunday.